In this WrestleTalk news, is a top WWE talent gone from the company? Are more WWE releases on the way? Is someone about to undergo a major gimmick change? And loads more, so subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, despite showing up for a surprise stint on commentary at the Royal Rumble, neither hide nor hair of Pat McAfee has been seen in WWE since. McAfee left the desk back in October to join ESPN's College Game Day, but was said to be returning to SmackDown's commentary team once the college football season was over. But as we all know, that finished on December the 10th last year, according to Google. So what has happened to McAfee? Well, his replacement, Wade Barrett, may have just shed some light on what is going on. Barrett told the Daily Star that his role on SmackDown was as permanent as you can ever be in a role in WWE, which certainly sounds like he's in it for the long haul and McAfee isn't coming back anytime soon. No, this is WWE. Most roles are just hanging on by the thinnest thread. But Barrett did say that the commentary team for the Blue brand will be him and Michael Cole going forward, and this prompted a Twitter response from Pat himself, who gave a sort of mysterious, "I'm busy actually, just kind of busy. He said, "A lot of wrestling chatter about me right now. I think about wrestling every day. That dream isn't done. My business is currently rather active and exigent, plus baby on the way. Timing is everything. I still have massive plans for my journey to the WWE Hall of Fame someday. Believe that." He also tweeted a sort of 2022-23 wrap-up in mid-Feb that said, "Baby girl on the way. What's that mean for my future with WWE? I love it, but they're allegedly going to be sold. Who's buying them? Do I want to work/make money for those people?" People being Saudi Arabia, maybe. Allegedly. Will McAfee make a surprise appearance in the headset for WrestleMania? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. And this is the thing about WrestleMania, given the fact that it is A, WrestleMania, and B, this year taking place under the lights, the glitz, and the glamour of Hollywood. You think WWE would be wanting to go all out to make it the biggest WrestleMania ever conceived? Well, not quite. Not quite. Because according to PW Insider Elite, WWE is instead looking to streamline the event from a spending perspective in order to maximize their profits and present the sleekest, strongest WWE they can. This will in turn prospectively make the company appeal more to potential WWE buyers, as, yeah, you know, that whole sale thing of the company, that's meant to be happening in April. Mad. In order to cut costs, WWE is reportedly looking to lessen the amount of staff present at Mania, with many working remotely instead in order to minimize the travel costs. This will reportedly include many of WWE's international commentary teams off to the fucking Thunderdome with you. Not only that, but WWE are also reportedly bidding off a number of events that were planned to take place on WrestleMania weekend. However, it's not clear as to what exactly these are. Meet and greet? I don't know. But this sleek, streamlined Mania in order to maximize profits and make a sale look appealing is all well and good, but WWE and the words cutting costs in the same sentence just give me bad vibes, man. Because as you may remember, the last few years, post-Mania season has also been culling season, with the company making a number of layoffs in mid to late April and usually citing budget cuts as the primary reason. Now, with Vince reportedly back behind the scenes and preparing for a sale, could we see a similar pattern recur within the company as it sheds some staffers in order to maximize profits? Wouldn't put it past them. But considering Triple H's recent hiring spate in order to add depth to the roster, you have to expect that if this business decision were to be made, it is absolutely going to clash with the current creative direction for the entire company. What do you guys think is going to happen? Probably the bleak thing, right? Let me know in the comments down below. Before we crack on with the rest of the episode, we just need to thank Thomas the Prize Hooker Solazano and Where There's a Will Campbell for their support on Patreon. On to the unfortunate topic of wrestler health issues now, and current NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez has been in the news a lot this week following a seemingly kayfabe post-match collapse at last week's NXT Roadblock event. And while the whole thing seemed, as I said, like a bit of a work, things took a concerning turn as some outlets such as the Wrestling Observer suggested that Perez's collapse was done in order to mask an unknown underlying issue with the 21-year-old. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer made the suggestion that there was more than meets the eye with this story, saying, "What I was told was that it's a vague situation in the sense that hopefully there's nothing wrong, but there might be. She didn't faint after the match, but that was a cover story for the fact that something may or may not be going on." I feel like Meltzer's reporting gets vague. Something may or may not be happening. Brian Alvarez would then rightly point out that Perez had just wrestled a near 20-minute match with Meiko Satomura, suggesting Perez is surely not in ill health, to which Meltzer replied, "I'm sure it's nothing wrong as something that would prevent her from, if you have maybe a shoulder issue or something like that, you can go and do your match, but you don't know how bad the issue is. That happens all the time. I was just told that it's a cover story for something, and they don't know exactly what it is, so therefore it's a vague story because the actual story is vague." F***ing wrestling. In contrast to this, Fightful Selective also released an update on Perez. However, they are adamant that Perez's collapse is all part of a storyline with absolutely no underlying issues at hand. Now, a match for Perez's NXT Women's Championship has been set without the champion herself in the event because she isn't cleared to compete. So far, seeing Zoe Stark and Gigi Dolin qualify for a ladder match in 2 weeks' time at Stand and Deliver in Mania time, baby. Sticking with NXT, because while HBK handles NXT affairs these days, it was of course once upon a time Triple H's little baby, with his black and gold roots being more than evident through his current WWE main roster choices. Now, one of Triple H's many NXT favourites is the former Bruiserweight Butch. Now, while Trips has certainly had his hands full since taking over WWE's creative, many had assumed that one of Hunter's first objectives would be to swiftly reverse the name change that should never have ever happened and return Butch to being Pete Dunne. And yet here we are, nearly 8 months into Triple H's WWE era, and Pete, he's still Butch, although he has at least ditched the suspenders and the flat cap. But fear not, because it seems as if Triple H hasn't forgotten about Mr. Dunne after all, as according to WrestleVotes via Give Me Sport, Butch will be transformed back into Pete Dunne in the near future, with the Brawling Brutes' popularity being the primary reason why it hasn't happened yet. They said, absolutely. I was told that it's in the works when Hunter came back. I was told that Pete Dunne was due to become Pete Dunne, but somebody said to wait because the Brawling Brutes were catching on. When Pete Dunne returns, it won't be as a member of the Brawling Brutes. I'm sure he'll be back by the end of this year, which is really good news for us and also for Dunne, because while he has made the current character work, realistically, it's highly unlikely he's ever going to become the world champion with a name like Butch. We're moving on from Triple H now, and WWE's primary focus right now is, of course, the show of shows, the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals. It's WrestleMania. And what comes just before the event itself? Well, of course, it is the Hall of Fame ceremony. And while it took WWE a little bit of time to get rolling with what's actually happening at the event, they've made up for that lost time by swiftly announcing the inductions of Rey Mysterio, the Great Muta, and the not yet confirmed but highly likely Stacy Keibler. But if you drag your minds all the way back to the year we all wish we could forget, 2020, that was 20 years long, there was a certain animal that was locked in for a first ballot spot in the Hall of Fame. However, due to the pandemic, this never actually came to be. Now, while some reports suggested that this would be the year that Batista would actually get his flowers, which would have been fitting because of the Hollywood thing and all that, it looks like another year is now going to pass without Big Dave's induction. And we may have the answer as to why, as according to PW Insider Elite, Batista is going to be in South Africa filming his upcoming movie My Spy during WrestleMania week. So alas, it's not to be. I mean, hopefully WWE can tie him down for next year, but he's really successful now. But what are the card for the event itself? Because as long as WWE pumps all of its resources into the actual wrestling, then everything is going to be fine and dandy, right? Because I think it's safe to say that the Mania card is actually looking rather tasty indeed, though I know it's not perfect. Lesnar and Omos is on there. But overall, it's not too shabby. But with Mania being a 2-night event now, the rather curious question is, when are those matches actually going to be taking place? And while we may not have our answer to that completely as of yet, we may now know where at least some of them are going to end up. As per WRKD Wrestling, so take this with a little grain of salt, Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul and Bianca Belair versus Asuka will both take place on night 1 of Mania, while the SmackDown Women's title match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley is going to be on night 2. Now, if this is true, it begs the question as to what the main event of night 1 would in fact be, because Charlotte versus Rhea would have perhaps been a potential frontrunner for that spot. Interestingly though, WRKD had also tweeted a report late last month that suggested that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos may get the nod to close night 1, which, do you know what I'm okay with? I'm alright with that. However, again, this cannot be confirmed. But let us know in the comments what you want to close night 1 of the show down there. where the comments live. But with WrestleMania around the corner, it is also sadly a time when injuries can strike, and it is the worst possible time. And unfortunately, that has been the case with the New Day's Kofi Kingston. Following an ankle injury sustained at the March 3rd episode of SmackDown during a brawl that was to set up a 5-way Intercontinental title #1 contenders match, Kingston would unfortunately have to be pulled from that match, being replaced by his New Day partner Xavier Woods. And it was feared at the time that Kingston would be unable to make it to Mania as a result of their injury, and that does seem that will unfortunately be the case, as Kingston has confirmed that he is set to undergo surgery on his ankle today, March 17th, if you're watching this later, which, according to the analytics, nobody does. Kingston took to social media yesterday confirming the news. However, it is unclear for just how long he's going to be out of action, but that's like 2 weeks, bud. We at WrestleTalk would like to extend our well wishes to Kofi and are hoping for a swift and safe recovery. Everyone watching, happy Friday. Go now. I want the weekend. Go.
In this WrestleTalk news, a botch in the finish of the main event of Dynamite, a WWE star deemed not ready for a major WrestleMania match, and Ollie's review of AEW Dynamite.